Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing we can promise you is that our conversation will be less than fascinating, so you can feel free to drift off and sleep as you hear the sounds of the sirens in the background. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano, and I am currently taping this podcast from Vancouver, British Columbia, and I have a very special guest with me, David Radford. Welcome to the Insomnia Project.
Thank you.
I've known David for years. He's an accomplished performer and director and writer. And if you want to check out some of his projects, you can go to bringingyouthestars.com, and we'll put that up on our podcast so that you can just click on it. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much.
Now, we both share a love for writing and writing utensils.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about pencils.
Well, I do most of basically all of my writing in pencil.
So pencil and paper is how you do your writing?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everything. I start with a small notebook. I move to a larger notebook, and then eventually I'll move to the computer. But
it
to
always
type it out
begins
in pencil.
In pencil. That's fascinating.
And I was never somebody who worked in pen, even when I was in school.
Okay.
I never liked that. I was never going to be into calligraphy.
Okay.
And I liked to go back and erase, I guess, as a kid.
I see.
And then what I like most about pencils is the fact that when you have an idea for a project, when you actually get the idea flowing, then you'll notice you write lighter, but as soon as the idea starts to form, you start to depress onto the paper and the writing becomes thicker. And so when you go back...
Like deeper? And
exactly. So when that happens, you know what parts of your writing have actually hit. When you go back and you edit, when you reread what you've written, there it is. There it is.
There's a sense.
There it is.
There's like a sensoriness to your writing, and you can immediately spot where your thought was very cohesive.
Absolutely.
And very direct. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, do you prefer a particular type of pencil?
Yeah, I'm not someone who knows a lot about many different kinds of pencils. I know Ticonderoga, I know the Statler, I know the
that's
Dixon.
already more than what I know. So let's tell me about the first one that you mentioned.
Ticonderoga.
I'm imagining it's an Asian pencil of some sort. The name...
Well, I've just worked with them, but I don't really know their history. The one that I know the most is the Blackwing.
Ooh.
And the Blackwing is an American-made pencil, and a lot of people call it the greatest pencil in the world.
Really? And why is that? What makes it the greatest pencil in the world?
Okay, so it starts in 1939, and there was a gentleman who was working for Ebhart Faber, a pencil company.
Of course,
as they do, and decided to create a pencil that had a mixture of graphite and wax and clay in a perfect combination of chemistry, so that when the pencil is sharpened and when you're writing with it, it keeps its point longer. So as you're writing with it, it keeps the point for quite a long time.
I see.
And it's very, very soft. It writes like butter.
So, in other words, when you're, let's say, on a roll, you don't have to stop mid-thought, mid-writing to sharpen the pencil because it stays longer.
Exactly.
So that would make a great quality pencil, especially for someone like yourself who's a writer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and because of its writing style, it writes like butter. It's really fluid, and so that's why they came up with the slogan that's written on every pencil.
Okay, I need to know what the slogan is.
Half the pressure, twice the speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of this pencil, but
Yeah.
now I need to get one, because if it writes like butter
Yeah.
and it has that slogan on it, you know it's a great... Are they expensive, these pencils?
Okay, well, there's a bit of a story with that that goes from 1930s right up to 1998. And so Ebhard Faber was making this pencil from the 1930s up until 1998. By 1998, there was a machine that crimped the ferrule. Now, the ferrule is the top of the pencil where the eraser is.
I see. Oh, that's the top of the pencil. Okay.
Yes. Normally, you'll notice when you buy a pencil in the store, they're round. The ferrule is round.
Right.
But on the Blackwing 602, the
I'm going to
ferrule...
just write this down.
Yeah.
Blackwing
Yeah.
602.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ferrule is flat like that. And so there was a machine that used to crimp the ferrule.
I see.
And it broke. And they decided they didn't want to fix it. And so in 1998, Blackwing 602s went out of existence.
No.
They stopped being made. Now, people started to collect them.
Right,
Boxes.
because they become a rare item.
Right.
And if you're someone who loves to write and use pencils...
With this great pencil, it was something that was coveted. It was collected in boxes, and there would be 20 pencils to a box.
It sounds like it's the king of pencils,
Yes.
or the pencil of kings.
Yes, yes. And they would start to go up in price and up in price.
Wow.
To every single pencil was $50 to $100. That's what people were willing to pay for one pencil.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so bring us to where the 602 is now today. The Blackwing, right?
The Blackwing 602. There's a company that decided to bring it back.
Oh.
And so in 2010, they started to experiment to bring back the exact chemistry of the wax, graphite, and clay mixture. And so the company is called Palomino.
Yes.
And Palomino brought back the Blackwing. Now, their first incarnation was not exactly right. And they had a lot of people write in and say, no, it's not right yet. And the fact that they wanted feedback was amazing.
Sure.
And then next, they decided to do better and brought out the Blackwing 602. This time not Ebhart and Faber, but Palomino Blackwing 602.
And David has just given me his Palomino Blackwing 602. Do you mind if I try it?
Oh, please.
I'm going to just write a few things. Oh, yes. I can certainly... I know what you mean by it writes like butter. It certainly has a lovely flow to it.
It
and
does.
Usually when you speak about flows, you speak about the pen, because the pen will have a ball on the end and it'll have a particular flow. So I've never really realized that a pencil can have a flow. And you know how some pencils can actually pull on the paper, so it gives you that sort of staticky feel. This one does not have that, and it has a really lovely color to it as it comes out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful writer. I recommend it. I have many. My wife buys them for me all the time. So there's all different kinds of Palomino Blackwings now because of the popularity, and of course you don't have to spend $50 to $100 a pencil
when
anymore.
you say there's all kinds, meaning there's different types of Blackwings?
So they tried to perfect the Blackwing 602, and they did, and I think it's on par with the original writer. And then from there, they increased the chemistry of the wax clay. And so there's a Blackwing Pearl, which is a beautiful pencil. Completely, instead of having this sort of bluish, dark shark skin color to the pencil, it's white, completely pure white. It's a lovely looking pencil as well. So there's a Blackwing. There's this sort of bluish gray shark skin like Blackwing for the 602. There's a Blackwing Pearl, which is the white. And then there are even more. There are very special volumes, Blackwings, that have come out just recently.
Okay.
One of them is the 725, which looks a lot like Bob Dylan's guitar, the sunburst color.
Okay.
That's done on the outside of the pencil.
Yes, I can picture
and
it.
725, I believe, is July 25th of 1965, when the famous Bob Dylan performance, and they've named that pencil after that.
I see. Okay.
A very flashy pencil.
The pencil you use when you want to get noticed.
Exactly.
Right? The pencil you bring out when people are around, or when you need to sign something, I guess, in front of the masses. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the opposite to that is the Blackwing 211. Now,
I just need to write this down.
Yes, sure.
Blackwing 211.
Yeah. So the 211 is completely opposite. It doesn't have a color, so it's very plain. It has that cedar look to it.
Oh, yes. I love that. I love that. So it looks like the most natural pencil.
And that's exactly what they were going for. The John Muir, John Muir was an environmentalist and a poet in the United States. And they named the 211 after the 211 miles of the Yosemite Trail that he used to travel when writing his poetry, when writing in general.
That's fascinating.
So that's your naturalistic pencil. So that's the one you don't take to any conventions. That's the one when you're in the woods and you're by yourself and you're sketching birds, or perhaps you're writing your own poetry. That's the pencil you use.
You can connect with nature with the 211.
Exactly.
And is the wood cedar wood?
Yes.
Oh, and
the most high quality cedar.
See, and there's something about holding a cedar wood pencil. I've had the fortune of doing that because it has a softness, a tooth to it when you hold it, when you feel the grip of a cedar. And cedar has such a pleasant aroma too. So I imagine when you sharpen that particular pencil, you're going to get the scent of the cedar.
The smell of these pencils is another sensory thing. I don't know what a better word to describe it at the moment, but the smell of the pencils are fantastic.
I mean, David, that just gives me pause, because I'm here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, where, pine trees, cedar trees are aplenty. So this, for me, is the pencil that I need to find while I'm here in Vancouver, so that I can bring it back home to Toronto and show people I have the 211.
Well, you'll have to order it. That's the only unfortunate thing, is it's the Cedar Company in the United States.
I see.
And you order them, but then they send them in a nice, beautiful package to your home, and you can unwrap it and imagine that you're still here in Vancouver.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Obviously, we can tell the pencil, very important too. This is your preferred pencil, correct? How important is the eraser for you?
Okay. My only criticism to the Blackwing is the eraser is not as effective as it could be.
Right.
So I use a separate eraser.
Oh, I see.
Though in a pinch, the nice thing about the Blackwing, even though the eraser isn't as high quality as maybe it should be, the nice thing about it is in this flat ferrule, when the eraser runs down, you can then pop it out and extend the eraser and then put it back in again so that you have more eraser.
Well, it's interesting. Now, for our listeners, David just pulled the eraser out of its ferrule, and it has like a little sort of metal clamp or something that he was able to adjust where the pencil is. Because I recall in grade school, you would get those yellow pencils.
Yes.
And of course, when you're in grade school, you're going to mess up. I'm going to make an R backwards. I still do that to this day, but, especially when I was 9, let's say, and you would use your pencil to erase it. And those yellow school pencils, the eraser would either snap or you'd get to the end and then all of a sudden you'd have the metal part and you try to erase and you'd rip the paper or you'd make that horrible sound and you'd have to use your molars to sort of bite on the ferrule to kind of squish the remaining, or I did anyways, squish the remaining part of the eraser that was left in the ferrule out so you could kind of use it, but then it'd be wet with saliva and it would just make a mess. It was not fun.
No.
Why I didn't have this brilliant Palomino Blackwing is beyond me. I may have been a fantastic person who sketches or a better poet, let's say, had I had that as a child. So I recommend if you are a parent and your child is in grade school and you want to give your children a little one-up in the creative department, you get them this kind of a pencil and they will never forget it.
You're right. Some of the famous people that your child could emulate or become that used the Blackwing.
So this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
So these are famous people who use the Blackwing pencil.
Steinbeck, Stephen Sondheim, and Chuck Jones. For everybody who has children will know the Warner Brothers cartoons and Chuck Jones. There would have been no Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck without the Blackwing 602.
These aren't just celebrities; these are masters. So these are masters. This is the pencil of masters. I correct what I said previously. This isn't the pencil of kings. This is the pencil of masters, and that's just a totally different thing. Because one's born a king, it doesn't mean you have talent. But a master is the top of their field.
Yes.
So that's.
There have been Disney animators that have been asked when they're have passed on, that when their loved ones are at the funeral, that they are buried with a Blackwing 602.
There you go.
Amazing.
Sure.
A love for drawing from life to death. Yes, it's just amazing.
So, I would imagine, David, it would never be wrong to gift you a Blackwing. You would always be happy. Like, I could buy you a Mont Blanc pen that costs thousands of dollars, or I could get you a couple of Blackwing, and I feel like you would be just as happy.
Absolutely right.
Because we said this on a previous episode that I love using pens. There's a pen that I'm in search of. It's a Japanese Pentel pen that you can't find anywhere in North America. I've tried. I found it in France a couple of times. Every time I go there, I buy a handful of these pens. They write so beautifully. And I went to Japan once, and I found it everywhere. Since then, a pen will only last so long. Haven't found another, and I long for that pen. So you may have convinced me to turn to the pencil now, because I used that 602 and it was just brilliant. Let's talk paper. I love paper, and
What's your favorite?
I'm glad you asked that, because first of all, my co-host Nidhi can attest to this. I have a addiction to journals. buy so many journals because I love the feel of certain papers, and then I don't use these journals, and I have these journals in my home, and my wife Amanda will always say, you cannot buy any more journals. You can't. You have so many. But there's something I love about journals. Now, for me, what's key when you're dealing with paper is it has to have a nice feel to it. It has to feel sort of like a satin, and it has to have the proper tooth. And the tooth is the depression that you make when you write on certain paper. And the other thing that's important is I prefer lined paper, and if it's lined paper, the color of the lines that they use has to be well done. It can't be wavy or some unstraight. No. Have you seen that?
Yes.
And so my favorite paper in all the world is from France, and it's called Clairefontaine. And if you haven't received a cahier, which is a notebook from Clairefontaine, I suggest you don't walk, you run and find one. They're not easy to find.
Oh, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. You have to go to a particular store that has this paper or these journals, and oftentimes it's one of these really lovely stores will have it. And sometimes you'll go into these lovely sort of stationery stores, and I'll ask, do you have Clairefontaine? And they're like, never heard of it. And then I just turn around on my heels and walk out, because if they don't know what Clairefontaine is, then they're not the stationery store for me, that's for certain.
I see.
What about you? What kind of paper do you enjoy?
Well, I've never been a big fan of I like notebooks as well.
Okay.
And I have that same problem, or I used to have that problem more of not using them enough, being afraid to mark them up. But I've gotten over it, and I'm using more and more notebooks now. One that I don't like very much is the moleskin. I know that moleskin's very popular with people.
Not cheap.
They're not cheap.
There you go.
But I'm not a big fan. I find that the paper is quite thin.
Right.
And so somehow the quality of the paper doesn't match what I like.
Fair enough.
I've also tried the stone paper, paper that's made of stone. And that is almost too, for lack of a better word, heavy.
Okay.
And so the pencil doesn't really want to work. Perhaps pen would work better with that paper.
I see.
But I've never been a big fan of that either. One type of notebook that I like is a high quality small notebook that you can fit in your shirt pocket or your back pocket.
Okay.
The one that I prefer is called Field Notes, and I like them because of their size.
Yes.
I like them. They're not hardcover. They're soft. They're crinkly, like a comic book could fit in your back pocket.
Yes, I've seen Field Note before.
Yes.
I actually think I have one in my backpack. I see you have one in front of you.
Yes. So this is one that I'm currently working on.
Yes.
There's not many pages to a Field Notes, but perhaps that's a downside. But yeah, there's this particular Field Notes that I'm using has a graph paper.
And do you prefer the graph paper?
I'm actually moving from line to, and I have graph, but I've actually moved into the dot format, which I really like.
Really?
Yeah. There's line, graph, and dot, and somehow I've gravitated more towards the dot format.
See, now I don't have a journal yet that has the dots, and now that's something I have to have in my collection of journals that I never write in, is the dot one, because now
I didn't think I would be someone who liked that, but it seems
it's quite amazing what you love what you love. There's no questioning what you love. And
but I'm fond of the Field Notes because of its size, because of its thinness, and I find that Field Notes holds together quite well. I'm thinking it's because that they put 3 staples instead of maybe 2, or the stitching. The small notebooks that have stitching maybe don't last as long, but there's something about the 48-page memo book with 3 stitches that really works for me. It's something that is easy to carry, and you can make quick, fast brain dumps, which is, of course, if you're traveling on the bus, or if you're canoeing, or if you're in the woods, or if you're doing your signings at conventions with your fabulous Blackwing 725, perhaps you need to make a quick brain dump of a new idea, and that's what I find the field notes are great for. From there, I would probably transfer any ideas that I had from the field notes into a larger notebook.
Is that where the refinement comes in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's where I would, but I would still do my second copy in pencil because I love it so much. And it's only when I get to a third copy, a third draft, that I start to actually put it on to the computer, but typing it.
Well, there you go. I have to say that our conversation today was very refined. And David, I want to thank you for being part of the Insomnia Project.
Oh, well, thank you.
And for letting us know about pencils, erasers, and of course, the type of paper that you like. We're recording today's podcast from Vancouver. Thank you once again. As always, the Insomnia Project is produced by Drumcast Productions. We hope you listen and sleep.